Okay, welcome to Engineer Kingsley YouTube channel, Learn with Engineer Kingsley. Today we'll be talking about theory of quadratic equation. Due to your exam you are preparing for, we are going to be solving some series of questions under this topic as part of your course outline. So listen, let me educate you on some things you need to know. Let's start with introduction. If you hear anything quadratic equation is interested in an equation that has the highest power of a variable x as 2, and the general form of representing quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. The condition for this quadratic to hold is if the coefficient of x squared is not 0. So the coefficient of x squared here is a. If it is not 0, we say is quadratic. So moving on, if you see any expression, take for instance that equation given to us in number 1, 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. What it's simply telling us is we can get all these ones that is attached to these variables are called coefficients. So the coefficient in a quadratic equation is a, b, and c, in the sense that to know the value of a is the constant attached to the variable x squared. The value of b is the constant attached to the value of x, and the variable c, the c is the constant that doesn't have x attached to it. So we can write out our parameters. We have that a is equal to 2, b is equal to 3, and c is equal to minus 2. So for those of you that is writing CBT, you can easily use in your calculator, you press mode 5-3 to solve this particular problem. By identifying the coefficients of the quadratic, you have to press the first one, 2, you press equality sign, you press 3, you press equality sign, you press minus 2, you press equality sign. Finally, you press the first equal to get the value of x to be 1/2. And you press another equal to get the second value of x to be minus 2. Okay, which option is true about this particular solution? If you look at it very well, you see that option A is correct. 1/2 and minus 2. If you want to solve it, like you're going to write YX, or you're going to write something that you have to show full working, a good thing to do is to use general formula or factorization method. If you want to use general formula, you remember the formula x equal to minus b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Moving on, we already know the value of a, we know the value of b, and we know the value of c. We can now substitute into this formula method by having minus, this is b, and b here is 3, plus and minus square root of b squared. We have b to be 3, so we are going to have 3 squared minus 4 into the bracket of a here is 2, still multiplied by c here is minus 2 all over 2a. A is still 2. Okay, at the end of the day, I've substituted my values. I will simplify further to have x equal to minus 3 plus and minus square root of 3 squared is 9 plus minus 4 times 2 times minus 2 will give me plus 16 all over 2 times 2 is 4. Moving on, we have x equal to minus 3 plus and minus square root of 9 plus 16 is 25 all over 4. So you have x to be equal to minus 3 plus and minus square root of 25 is 5 all over 4. So x will be equal to minus 3 plus 5 all over 4 or minus 3 minus 5 all over 4. So moving on, I will have x to be equal to minus 3 plus 5 is 2 all over 4 or minus 3 minus 5 is minus 8 all over 4. So moving on, the value of x equals 2 all over 4 is 1 all over 2. 2 can go in both. Or minus 8 divided by 4 will give us minus 2, which is corresponding to what we got in our calculator earlier. Okay, so with this analysis, we can move over to question number 2, which says that for the quadratic equation x squared minus 4x plus 5 is equal to 0, the nature of its root is dash. Okay, this question is very simple. It's reminding me about what we call determinant. For the quadratic equation x squared minus 4x plus 5 equals to 0. I said the nature of its root is dash. This question is reminding me of what we call discriminant in polynomials or quadratic equations. Discriminant is written as delta, and the value of the formula for discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So there are 3 ways we can represent this discriminant. The ways we can represent discriminant is that discriminant can be equal to 0, discriminant can be greater than 0, or discriminant can be less than 0. If the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac, is equal to 0, we say it is real and equal root, or we call it 2 real roots. Either we call it real and equal, or we call it 2 real roots. Then if delta, which is discriminant, is greater than 0, we have number 2 in case we have real and distinct roots. Real and distinct. The meaning of this distinct is different. For something to be distinct, the roots are different. Both of the solution of the roots will be real, but there will be different solution to it. Just like the previous example we saw, where we got 1 over 2 and minus 2. We have both of them to be real, but they are distinct. They are different. But in a system where you have x to be equal to 3 and 3, you see both of them are real and they are the same roots. So that is for the cases of the first one. The case of the second one is that it's real and different roots. Then the third, when the discriminant is less than 0, we have that we are having complex roots complex roots, or what we call imaginary roots. Imaginary roots. Another way we can call this number 3 when the discriminant is less than 0 is what we know as no real roots. No real roots. So be careful of all these terms in case you see it in your exam. You will not mistake in any way. So what they're asking me number 2 is verification of this particular equation. The first thing one have to do is to list out, write the general formula for quadratic of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. My aim is to get the value of a, get the value of b, and get the value of what? C. The value of a is the coefficient of x squared, which is 1. The value of b is the coefficient of x, which is minus 4. The value of c is the constant, which is 5. Okay, moving on. Since they are saying that we should check the nature of the roots, we have to plug in the discriminant and see whether it will be equal to 0, if it is greater than 0, or it will be less than 0. So, having the discriminant, which is delta, to be equal to b squared minus 4ac. Let's see. We have our b value. Our b value, according to the equation given, is minus 4. We have minus 4 all squared minus 4. A value here is 1 and c value here is 5. So when I multiply further, minus 4 squared means minus 4 times minus 4, which is 16. Minus 4 times 5 times 1 times 5 will give us 20, which will equal minus 4. So when you look at minus 4, is minus 4 equal to 0? No. Is minus 4 greater than 0? No. Is minus 4 less than 0? Yes. We will now conclude that for the discriminant to be less than 0, it is said to be either complex root, imaginary root, or no real root. We go to our option. So option A, we have real and distinct root. Is it correct? No. We have real and equal root. Is it correct? No. We have real and rational root. Is it correct? No. We have complex or no real root. The correct option there is option number what? D. Okay? Let me clean the board and show you something. In question number 3, I said if the discriminant of a quadratic equation is 0, then the roots are... If the discriminant is 0, I think I told you guys, if the discriminant is 0, you have that the discriminant is equal to 0. I told you you have real or equal root, which is option number B. We say that we have real or equal root. If the discriminant is greater than 0, we have real and distinct roots. If the discriminant is less than 0, we have no real roots. So in number 3, they're asking us if the discriminant is equal to 0, which of the following is true? Real and unequal, wrong. Real and equal, correct. Complex or rational, irrational, wrong. Okay, moving on. Question number 4. They said if the roots of 2x squared plus px plus 8 is equal to 0 are equal, find p. If the roots are equal, that is equal roots. Let's check. We now have the discriminant is said to be equal. What is the discriminant? B squared minus 4AC is equal to 0. So if b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, making b squared the subject, we will have that b squared minus 4ac moving over, crossing the sign of equality, we change to plus 4ac. Okay, according to the equation given to us, we have the general formula for quadratic to be a x squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. That simply means that a in the quadratic is 2, b is p, and c is 8. So, solving the solution, getting the solution, we have that b is p. Substituting it here, we have p squared equal to 4, a value is 2, and c value is 8. So we have that p squared is equal to 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 64. So to make p the subject, we take the square root of the right hand side by having p to be equal to plus and minus square root of 64. Why is it plus and minus? Because this p is quadratic. You are meant to have the two values of p defined in positive and negative. P will be equal to plus and minus. Square root of 64 is 8. Which option is correct about this solution? Option number B. Number 5. Okay. Number 5, they said if one root of x squared minus 7x plus k equal to 0 is 2, find k. If one, okay, if you observe question number 5, they said if one root of x squared minus 7x plus k is equal to 0 is 2. So they have given you the first value of x to be 2. So what you are going to do is to find the value of k that makes this quadratic complete. There's no value of the constant here. So let's get it. To do it, you have to substitute the value of the root given, the value of x given here. You have 2 squared minus 7 multiplied by 2 plus k equal to 0. Our aim is to make k the subject. We have 2 squared is 4. That is 2 times 2. Minus 7 times 2 is minus 14 plus k equal to 0. So 4 minus 14 is minus 10 plus k equal to 0. So to make k the subject, minus 10 will cross the sign of equality. K will be equal to 10. So if I plug it, the quadratic will become x squared. So in the solution, the option that is correct is A. The equation that we are talking about is x squared minus 7x plus 10 equal to 0. If I want to approach this question by factorization, I will have x all equal to 0. I will looking for two numbers that if I add it, I'll get minus 7. If I multiply it, I'll get 10. The two numbers are minus 2 and minus 5. If I add minus 2 minus 5, I'll get minus 7. If I multiply both of them, I'll get positive 10. So I will now have x minus 2 equal to 0 or x minus 5 equal to 0. So the two roots is x equal to minus 2 going to the other side, change to 2, or minus 5 going to the other side, we change to 5. Okay, so the two basic rules of this quadratic, that the value is k, the value of the constant k is 10, is 2 and 5 respectively. Okay, let me clean the board. For the next question, is question number 6. They said for what value of k will the equation x squared plus kx plus 9 equal to 0 have no real root. No real root is when the discriminant is less than 0. The discriminant being less than 0 is no real root. What is discriminant? B squared minus 4ac. If it is now less than 0, it becomes no real root. So we can make b squared the subject by having b squared. So adding this both sides or taking it to the other side, you have b squared less than 4ac. Okay, putting the original quadratic equation formula or form here, you have that a here is 1, b here is k, and c here is 9. So substituting it in this expression, I'll have that b being k is here we now turn to k squared is less than 4. The value of a is 1 and the value of c is 9. So I will now have that k squared is less than 4 times 9 will give us 36. Okay, so here inequality rule is telling us that there are two intervals bound for 36. You'll be having plus and minus square root of k squared to be less than 36. So if this cancel this, you have plus and minus k to be less than square root of 36 is 6. So the interval rule is plus and minus k is less than 6. So if we want to approach this thing, we have the interval between -6 and +6. But a good way to represent it using absolute value is to have absolute value of k to be less than 6. This absolute value simply means that the value of k can be negative to give us k. The k here can be positive to still give us what? K. That is why we represent it with absolute value function. So let's clean the board. The last question before we put a stop to this particular questions for the day is finding the root of an equation. This is a very ugly question that needs intensive understanding. You need to pay attention closely to how we solve this problem. Take for instance, if I have a solution or roots of equation to be 2 and -3. Look up, pay attention. If you have this to be the answer of a quadratic equation, you know you are meant to have two answers. You get? So, for it to be the answers of this quadratic equation, it is called roots. So, if these are the roots, which is the answers to equations that we call roots, for us to get the equation that the roots is this, what we do is we use this formula x squared minus sum of the roots x plus product of the roots equal to 0. Always use this equation. So you have x squared equal minus sum of the root is adding the two roots together. You have -3 plus 2 as the sum of the roots multiplied by x plus the product of the roots is multiplying both of them, -3 and 2, -3 times 2, all equal to 0. So to get the equation, I will have x squared -3 plus 2 is -1 times minus will give us +1 Plus 1 times x will give us plus x. Perfect. Minus 3 times 2 is minus 6. Times plus will give us minus 6. All equal to 0. So this is the quadratic equation that its solution is plus 2 and minus 2. Okay, let's go back to our question. Here, they gave us the two roots of the equation to be 3 plus 5 sod 5 and 3 minus sod 5. What are we going to do? Look up. Look closely. We are going to still follow the same approach we did before. But first, we get the sum separate. We get the product separate so that it will be easier for us to simplify. This is some question. So you have 3 plus sod 5 plus 3 minus sod 5. This thing I did is to find the sum. We want to get the sum of the roots. Adding the two roots together, 3 plus 3 will give us 6. Sod 5 will go with minus sod 5. Okay? So, what of product? Product is multiplying the two given roots. You have 3 plus sod 5 multiply 3 minus sod 5. Okay? Let's multiply out. 3 times 3 will give us 9. 3 times minus sod 5 because minus 3 sod 5. I'm done with 3. So I will go again. Sod 5 is multiplying now. Sod 5 multiplied by 3 will give us plus 3 sod 5. Then sod 5 multiplied by minus sod 5 will give us plus times minus is minus. Sod 5 times sod 5 is 5. Whenever you have sod having the same content inside the root, the sod always disappears to have 5. So if you observe, you see that minus sod 5, minus 3 sod 5 will go with plus 3 sod 5. 9 minus 5 will give us 4. So the sum of the root is 6. The product of the root is 4. So we now get the equation by having x squared minus sum of the root, we got it to be 6. 6 multiplied by x plus product of the root, we have it to be 4. All equal to 0. So we have the original quadratic equation to be x squared minus 6 times x is minus 6x plus 4 equal to what? 0. So to find the equation whose root is given, one have to use x squared minus sum of the root x plus product of the roots equal to what? 0. Always remember that I'm your humble tutor, Engineer Kingsley. If you need more an advanced learning, you want to see me physically in person, you can message me on WhatsApp on that number. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and continue sharing our videos to your loved ones, both the ones preparing for WAEC exams, JAM, 100 level exams, GCE, NATEP, etc. Okay? So I will continue being with you, trying to make you understand all these complex topics. In my next class, I will do part 2 of this review. This video is rated to be part 1. There is a lot of things we are going to do under theory of quadratic equation. See you in the next video.